Every morning, Ethan walked through the busy market. Vendors called out their prices, customers laughed, and the scent of fresh fruit filled the air. But Ethan only noticed one thing: a young woman selling apples at the corner stall. Her name was Susan. Susan had long, wavy brown hair and kind green eyes. She worked hard, arranging apples neatly in baskets, smiling at customers, and counting coins carefully. Ethan watched her from a distance, his heart beating faster each time she laughed. Ethan was a poet. He loved words, but he could not find the courage to speak to Susan. Instead, he wrote about her. Each night, in his small apartment, he filled pages with poetry about her smile, her voice, and the way she moved gracefully between the baskets of fruit. But he never shared his poems. One evening, as he sat at his desk, staring at a poem he had just finished, he sighed. "Tomorrow," he whispered to himself. "Tomorrow I will talk to her." The next morning, he folded the poem carefully and put it in his pocket. He walked to the market with determination, but when he arrived, Susan was not there. Her stall was empty. He asked a nearby vendor, an older woman selling flowers, "Where is the girl who sells apples?" "Susan?" "She left," the woman said. "Her father is sick, so she went to take care of him in another town." Ethan felt his heart sink. He had waited too long. Days passed, then weeks. The market was not the same without Susan. Ethan continued to write, but his poems felt empty. He regretted not speaking to her when he had the chance. One afternoon, as he walked through the market, he saw a familiar face. Susan was back. She stood at her stall, arranging apples just as before. Ethan's heart raced. This time, he would not wait. He walked up to her, his hands shaking slightly. "Hi," he said. Susan looked up and smiled. "Hello. Would you like to buy an apple?" Ethan smiled back. "Actually, I wrote something for you." He took out the poem, unfolded it, and handed it to her. Susan read the words slowly, her cheeks turning pink. When she finished, she looked up at him with shining eyes. "This is beautiful," she said softly. "You wrote this about me?" Ethan nodded. "I wanted to tell you, but I was afraid. I thought maybe you wouldn't care." Susan shook her head. "I do care. And I wish you had given me this sooner." She reached into her basket, picked the reddest apple, and handed it to him. A gift for a poet. Ethan laughed, feeling lighter than he had in months. "Thank you. Maybe we could talk more sometime?" Susan nodded. "I'd like that." From that day on, Ethan no longer wrote poems about a girl he only watched from afar. He wrote about a girl he talked to, laughed with, and, slowly, fell in love with. And he never kept his words hidden again. Because words unspoken could mean a love forever lost. If you enjoyed the story, please like and subscribe.